Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my compadre, my brother, Alex. How you doing?
Much better today. Not hungry. You won't hear any stomach growlings or
Thank goodness. That was
anything of that nature.
distracting last week.
Yes. So, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man.
Nothing?
Spent all weekend out at a baseball tournament, roasting my
that's
ass off watching 13-year-olds play baseball.
That's a good time.
No, it was. It was a good time. My son played well. The team played well. They didn't win the tournament, but 22 teams in the tournament. You end up in...
22 teams.
I think they ended up officially, they ended up 7th. It's not bad.
That's March Madness.
Yeah, these tournaments get huge.
That's a lot of teams, though, for a weekend.
Yeah. Well, and that's just one specific age group, right? Because there's 3 13U tournaments going on.
Uh-huh.
And that's this organization. There's another organization that also has a 13U tournament. So you figure each one has anywhere from 15 to 20 teams. This one happened to be a little bit bigger, 22. But say on average 15, call it 12 teams. 4 tournaments, 48 teams.
Damn, that's a lot.
Each team has 12 kids. That's 500 kids just in 13U.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was that many teams for a Little League tournament.
It's not Little League, bro.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Check yourself. It's not Little League.
Little Big League.
No, it's not Little League.
It's not Major League.
No, you know what's funny is when you talk to these people about kid baseball, and I'm guilty of this as well. When they say my kid plays Little League, you're like, oh, that's cute. but what my kid plays, he plays travel ball. Travel. Mind you, he doesn't leave Houston, but it's travel ball. He plays select.
Yeah,
elite tournament.
And to the pitcher's mound is 60 feet 6 inches from home plate. It's Little League.
Almost, man. At 14U they play on high school fields.
Is high school is already...
High school plays 90 feet,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So right now he plays 80 foot in these 13U tournaments, but they've...
80 foot? Oh, huh?
The bases.
Oh, I'm like, wait a second. He's definitely beyond Major Leagues.
Dude, you gotta get... I understand that you don't have a kid playing baseball, but you gotta get with the lingo. You don't talk about the pitcher's mound, you talk about the bases. So it's 60, 80, 90. He plays 80.
Oh, okay, well... You didn't specify.
I don't need to specify because I'm cool with the kid baseball stuff.
I was about to say, man, that's beyond Major League.
I wonder how much it's a big difference. They played in a 14U tournament a few weeks ago, and they played 90 feet, and so when they pitched, it looked slower.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much of a difference it would make if Major League Baseball just pushed them back a little bit. How much more offense would there be if it was 100-foot bases and the pitcher was, respectively, however much further that is?
Yeah, I mean, as a lot of Tommy Johns now, imagine then if they moved it back 10 feet. Damn. 10 feet is 10 feet.
The bases, if they move the bases back 10 feet, then they would move the pitcher's mound back, I think, 6.
6 feet?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, look, offense went up considerably when they put in the regulation on the mound height. That was the same distance,
right?
But now they said no more than 10 inches high, and all of a sudden the offense has exploded. Can you imagine if they moved them back 10%, basically?
That or the baseballs are juiced.
They talk about all this stuff to speed up the game. There's ways to speed up the game without really messing with the fiber of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna speed up the game, call the traditional strike zone, the one I was taught as a kid, from the letters to the knees, right? Because right now they don't call anything from about mid-stomach up to the letters. So that high strike is... If they start calling that, Scherzer's going to strike out 400 batters.
But I agree. But you know what though? I think the games are a tad faster this season, and the games that I've watched on ESPN, this strike zone seems a lot bigger than that K zone that they put up there, and I think that's helped speed up the game because
I think so too.
because the batters are now chasing, and if they're not chasing, they're looking at a cold strike, 2 to 4 inches outside of the strike zone that you see. So it feels like the umpires are have a wider zone, and it just seems that the games are going by just a little quicker.
Yeah.
Even though the offense has,
The Mets played a game in an hour and 59 minutes yesterday. Now, granted, the Mets don't hit.
Right.
So that explains that.
They didn't hit all series.
Oh, my God.
Against the Marlins.
They had 3 hits in the last 2 games?
Yeah, something like that. 1 yesterday, 2 the day before, maybe. I don't know.
Dude.
It's been pretty bad.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. The Mets lineup was what I expected to be the problem before the season started. And I'm not surprised that that's the problem now. But
they have batting and pitching problems.
Well, the pitching, you can't expect DeGrom to throw 27 straight.
No, but it's trickled down all across the whole rotation. So.
Well, but like DeGrom hasn't been as dominant as last year, but he's still good. Syndergaard is good. Wheeler has had really good starts, really not good starts.
Same thing with Matz. He's had good starts, bad starts.
Now he's hurt. It's been kind of up and down with that team, but still, but part of it too is you can't get a good read on the Mets pitching because those guys are pitching under ridiculous pressure. They know they have to be perfect.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's not pressure at this point, man. At this point, it's just a bunch of bad luck. That's all. That's all it is, man. It can't be starting off the same way in April every single season, and by 2 months it's
halfway through.
They're cursed. So I'm trying to think if it's like the Bernie Madoff curse, the Bobby Bo curse, the Jason Bay curse. The Mets are cursed, plain and simple, and that's all there is to it, man.
I mentioned that I was not surprised by the Mets. What have you been surprised by? We're 6 weeks into the season now.
I think there's a lot
We've played how many games roughly? Let me check real quick.
About 50, just under 50.
So we're a little less than a third through the season, right? Is that right?
Something
45.
Like that.
So we're a little past the quarter-way point.
Yeah.
We're a little past the quarter pole.
I mean,
What are you surprised by so far?
The Phillies have been a surprise.
Why?
Because even though we expected them to, I don't know. I don't know if many expected them to be in first place at this point.
I think a lot of people expected them to be in first.
But when you look at the Phillies, you look at, oh man, they got Harper, Realmuto, Hoskins. They got this supposedly great lineup that is supposed to, set the world on fire. But it's been the opposite for the Phillies. It's been the pitching that's actually done really well, and I think that's been a little bit of a surprise for me. There, when you look at Harper, when you look at their batting average, it's really not that good.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not hitting lights out, which is that is a bit of a surprise. We expected them to win games 10-8, not 3-2.
Right. So, I think the
method is a surprise, but the fact that they're in first is not a surprise to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That division is, right now the Mets and the Nationals are racing to see who can get their manager fired first.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Neither one of those situations are pretty.
No,
it's not pretty at all.
Who's your surprise in the National League?
The Pirates have been a nice surprise. They're 24-20. I didn't expect much from them, but they're playing good baseball.
Yeah.
They're matching up with everybody. They're only 3 games out.
They got decent pitching. They just can't really score runs.
Right. That's been their problem. I'm not surprised that they can't score runs. I was not overly impressed with their lineup coming into the season, but I expected their pitching to not be that much help either, and it's been the opposite. The pitching has been very good. Tell you what hasn't surprised me in the least.
What's that?
The Astros.
Yeah?
The Astros have the look of a World Series team. And I know it's May. A lot can happen between now and October, but man, they look good. They've already strung together 2 10-game winning streaks. And that team, it's got good pitching all the time, it seems like.
Yeah.
But when they get hot with the bats, whew.
I'm a little scared of the Astros because,
you should be.
Altuve had an injury earlier this season. Correa, now Springer's down. They seem like they can put it together and just get by, but man, when we're down, 140 games, 162nd game, I don't know if the long seasons might take a toll on them.
Yeah, and look, I think it's true of every season, of every champion in every sport. You got to have a little bit of luck, right?
Yeah.
And part of being lucky sometimes is avoiding that big injury. And, last year they lost Correa for a big stretch of the season, and when he was there, he wasn't quite the same, and it showed. They just weren't quite at that level. And the Red Sox on the other side, right, had none of those problems. Other than Sale having a short stint on the IL, they were pretty much injury-free.
The IL. Have you gotten used to saying the IL? I can't.
I just said it.
I can't. It's the DL. It's the disabled list.
That's the injury. They're not disabled. Do they get a handicap placard when they're on the DL back in the day?
I don't know.
They should,
That's a
right?
good question.
Part of making it to the World Series, part of winning a World Series is having a little bit of luck along the way. And, the Astros, that might be the luck that they need, is to avoid that key injury.
Possibly. Now, this, to me, is the biggest... I thought you were going to mention this team, but this, to me, has been even a far more surprise. The Chicago Cubs. I mean, they swept the Cardinals about 3 weeks ago. Completed the sweep on ESPN Sunday night. And they've been on a freaking tear. I mean, an absolute tear. They are... I mean, I looked at their stats like a couple weeks ago, and they were ranked first in like all... Or not first, but top 5, top 7 of like every offensive category. Jason Hayward all of a sudden remembers how to play baseball. Baez is still playing good baseball. I mean, Chris Bryant, he looks to be in like MVP form, man.
Yeah, well, he's healthy for the first time in a couple of seasons.
Right.
I think that's key. You'll remember when we did the preseason show, we talked about it, and I said this at the time. I think talent for talent, they're as good as anyone else in that division, if not better. We just didn't trust them. We didn't trust them to stay healthy. We didn't trust them to pitch well. We didn't trust them to make it through. Now they're showing us that they can be trusted.
Right.
Their pitching staff is doing well, and everyone's healthy. That's a big plus. Because look at other teams.
But for how long can we trust them?
Well, I mean, look, again, you never know. Right? Injuries are a part of the game, but you never know when they're going to come up unless you're the Mets, in which case they come up all the time. Or in this case, or this season, the Yankees, right? There's another team that's been bit by the injury bug. But
the Yankees have what injury bug? They don't have an injury bug. They just have backup players playing every day because I don't know how the hell they're doing it.
Smoke and mirrors, man. But they're a half game up. They've got the third best record in the American League. I mean, they're doing great. The other team who is not a surprise because I picked them to have a good season.
Who's that?
The Twins.
Yeah?
The Twins are looking like the real deal.
Yeah?
Again, excellent pitching on their part.
I don't know about the real deal. They always...
Not always.
They always, take a tailspin at the end.
Dude, they're up 4.5 on the Indians.
Indians are playing better though. They started off a little rough, but they're playing better. Indians are gonna catch them.
You think so?
Yeah, I have a feeling. I don't
know.
I don't know that the Twins can keep this up all year long.
I don't know. I think the Twins are for real.
So the Cubs and the Phillies start a series tonight. That should be a good series.
That would be a good series.
Which one of those two keeps us up?
Both of them.
You think both of them?
Both of them. The Cubs, because I think I don't think they're going to get the injury bug this year. Look, the injury bug makes it around to a few teams every year, and it looks so far like the Cubs are going to avoid it, and I think they're not going to get that rash of injuries that they've gotten in the past. And Chris Bryant really looks like he's healthy, and that's a big plus for them. And if he stays that way, that team's going to be pretty good. The Phillies are in first place without real hitting going on in that lineup. You got to believe that hitting is going to get better. And the other thing, too, is they're playing in a division that they're really... I don't want to say they're going to win by default because that makes it sound like they're not a good team. I think they are. But they don't really have any competition there either because the Braves are good, but the Braves still... I'm not sold.
No.
And the Mets are terrible. Washington is terrible. And the Marlins are terrible.
The Braves gave up a few. Their bullpen has been shaky. I was like, man, when do they make that call to Kimbrel? Right? Because they sure can. They can use both of them actually. Keuchel
and Kimbrel are still out there.
I think. The Braves. One of them would be, or both of them would be, the perfect fit for the Braves. I think the Braves need them more than anything.
What happens if they sign those guys after the trade deadline? Are they still eligible for the postseason, I wonder?
I think they just have to make the 40-man roster when they expand in August. So they should. I don't know the exact rules, but
I saw an article with Dallas Keuchel, and he says he is not going to take less than market value.
Yeah.
And at this point, the market, here's the thing. The market is whatever someone's willing to pay. So it doesn't matter that I think my car is worth $2.3 million. If the most I can get for it on eBay is $15,000, then that's the market value. And Kimbrel and Keuchel, and especially Keuchel seems to be much more hung up on the market value thing. They're looking at it from their they're looking at it from their perspective. And Keuchel's argument is, I've won this many games, I've won a Cy Young, I've pitched this many innings, blah, blah, blah. And so that's worth this. And major league teams are saying, you're declining in wins, declining in innings pitched, and it's been 3 years since you won that Cy Young, your value is this. And there's a huge discrepancy there.
Who sets the market?
I think...
The player contracts, right? They average out, and that's the market?
Right. You'd have to look what a similar pitcher to Dallas Keuchel is getting.
So that's then that is his market. Just because teams are not willing to match that market, it means that teams want to pay under market value, and that's not what he's worth.
But if all 30 teams agree, if he says his market value is $12 million and no one is willing to pay more than $8 million, the 30 teams set the market. That's his value, $8 million.
So the teams set the market? I don't think so.
It all depends.
It's kind of like
it all depends on how you look at it, right? The problem is he's looking at his market value based on his last 3 seasons as an average. So he's averaging 12 wins or 14 wins a season. So that puts him at this market value. Let's call it $12 million.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that Major League Baseball teams are looking at the trend, and the trend is down. He won 20, 15, and 12, so that they're figuring the trend is now 10, which makes his market value $8 million. So it all depends on how you look at the value.
Because it's no different than when you go, for a job interview, and this is what your title is, right? X, Y, and Z, and this is that's what the market value is for that title, with certain degrees and certain other things that factor into your resume, right?
But part of the problem and the difference is when you go for a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
The market is every single employer in Houston,
right?
Right? There's thousands of employers here that hire people that do what you do. Dallas Keuchel only has 30 potential employers.
Yeah.
So there's a smaller pot, so to speak, to look at. Here's here's the problem, right? So you look at his last 4 years, 20 wins, 9, right? He missed 7 starts, so 7 less starts, so it trended down. Then 14, but then 12, right? So he's looking at that and he's saying, look, I'm roughly a 15-win pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And other teams are looking at that. The teams are looking at that and saying the trend is down. You went from 20 to 14 to 12. You're a 10-win pitcher, not a 15-win pitcher, which makes a difference in the value. And that...
How old is he?
That's part of the problem. He's 31.
31. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to pull up, because I'm curious. I don't think Jacob deGrom's record is... It's close to what his is. Keuchel's. What's Keuchel? 74 and what?
76 and 63. 7 years.
76 and 63?
Yeah, 7 years. His see, this is the thing. His 162 game average is 14 and 11.
Okay, DeGrom has 58 and 46, so he's got a lot less.
And his 162 game average is 13 and 11. So,
wait, what?
His 162 game average.
Okay, so that's not a big difference.
Yeah, except DeGrom is going up.
Is
right?
he?
Well, he's gotten better over the last 3 years, right?
Yeah,
Has
but
he not?
Well, I mean, we need to fact. Well, this year he's 3 and 5. So
Wait, but the contract was signed before the season started, and Keuchel hasn't played this year. So we're looking at previously completed seasons, right? And so, I mean, well, I don't understand how Keuchel's still out there. The only thing I can think of is that discrepancy. He's looking at the average of his last 3 of his last 4 years when he was healthy the whole season, and teams are looking at those 3 seasons and seeing the drop and saying, I mean, all of his numbers are deteriorating. All of them. Wins, innings pitched, whip, all of it.
They're actually not, because he's not actually playing right now, so those numbers aren't getting better or worse.
His whip is pretty good. It's 0. He is just... They can't hit him. They can't hit him this year.
Before or after?
Before or after what?
The trade deadline. Does he get signed?
He said he's prepared to sit the season.
Wow.
So I don't think they're gonna sign him.
Unless, of course, a team just loses their
mind and says, "Here, take my money."
Well, or loses one of their key starters, right? Like if, I don't know, Scherzer goes down or something. Maybe the Nationals. I don't know, or another team that.
I don't know. I am, like I said, I am baffled by.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, the Kimbrel situation is almost more perplexing because I don't think he has the market value discrepancy that we're talking about with Keuchel. I think with him, it's just everyone's afraid to touch him because he's old, which he's not that old.
Well, you can't give a close. I mean, he's older. In closer years, he's old. He wasn't that great for the Red Sox last season.
My understanding from what I've seen is no one's even calling him because teams don't believe. He wants a contract commensurate with a guy who's been in the league for X number of years and blah, 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 and he's a good closer. And teams are saying, well, I can go out and get a 20-year-old kid with no experience to give me those numbers and pay him the league minimum. So I think that's the discrepancy there, which I think his situation is worse because at least Keuchel can come down. Kimbrel, he's got X number of years in the league. It is what it is, right?
Well, I guess more power to them if they feel that confident that.
I'm really surprised about the Keuchel situation.
Do you think Bellinger bats 400 this season?
No.
He's at like 405, 409.
He won't make it. He won't make it to the All-Star break at 400.
So when?
Before the All-Star break.
Before the All-Star break? All-Star break?
Yeah, before the All-Star break, he'll be. I bet you he doesn't make it through the month of June. July 1st, he is not hitting 400.
Yeah, that's hard to do, man.
It is.
That's hard to do.
It's not easy.
But he's like, he's in first in every.
Oh, he's having an MVP season.
Category.
He's got such a sweet swing too.
Yeah, he does.
He's got such a sweet swing.
You take Yelich or Bellinger right now?
Right for MVP?
No, just just.
Oh, to start my team?
Yeah.
To start my team, I probably take Bellinger.
They're both young.
They're both young, yeah. I don't think you go wrong either way.
Yeah.
Same thing in the American League. Who do you take? Trout or
Trout?
Springer?
Trout.
Mookie Betts?
Trout.
Aaron Judge?
Trout.
George Springer? Altuve?
Trout.
Alex Bregman?
Yeah, Trout.
Ohtani?
Yeah. Ohtani comes with Trout. They play together. Ohtani came back and he hit a home run.
Dude.
It's about time.
I was so happy. I am an Ohtani fan just because I wanted him to win MVP so bad.
Rookie of the year.
Huh?
Rookie of the year.
Well, I wanted him to win MVP.
Oh, okay.
Right, because my argument was if he pitches...
Oh, wait, he did win Rookie of the Year. Okay.
My argument was that if he pitches enough and hits, how is he not the MVP? And now, even though he's not pitching, I'm still rooting for him. I don't know why. I guess it's because I want to see that. I want to see that happen.
Yeah. He may not pitch at all this season. Right?
That's the plan. The plan is for him to not pitch this year.
Well,
Which,
that's fine. He's young too, man.
He's young, but look, he's just another guy if he doesn't pitch. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean it like that. But as far as me being a fan of a random player playing out in freaking Los Angeles of all places, the only reason I'm a fan of that guy is because I want to see that, right? I want to see a guy with 12 wins and 30 home runs and 100 RBI. Like, I want to see that.
You would pay to go see him? Like if he was
hell yeah.
if he was scheduled, penciled into
Yeah. Especially if we lived in a National League park, right?
Oh,
because then you'd see a pitcher who could right, like they
so
put
he would bat twice.
They'd put the pitcher in the 4 hole. I mean, what does he hit now? Does he hit in the 3 hole or the 2 hole?
I don't know. I don't know where he's hitting. He's got to be hitting.
Well, he hits in the top 5 in the lineup, right?
He should be.
When was the last time you saw a pitcher hit 5th? High school?
Little League? Little League.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's see where he batted yesterday. Let's see if he played.
I'm an Ohtani fan. I can't.
Yeah, I'm for it, man. I think it's
just because I want to see the enigma that is a
Ohtani batted 3rd. He's batting 260. He's batting more than Bryce Harper is.
Oh, and he can pitch.
Ohtani.
I like Ohtani.
Yeah?
I'm not going to lie. It's one of those silly little things that makes me root for him. Just because I want to see something that I've never seen before. So, anyway. That's more baseball than I thought we'd talk about in the 3rd week of May.
Well, it's been overshadowed by...
By what?
I have no idea.
Boxing?
Boxing.
Did you see Deontay Wilder?
I mean, he wasn't joking when I think he really meant it when he says he wanted to kill him.
Yeah, and for a moment there, I thought he did.
I mean, he
folded
him up like a chair.
I don't think I've ever seen a 200, what was it, 240, 260, something like that. I've never seen a 240-pound man crumple like that.
I think he saw his soul leave his body, man. I mean, just the way he punched him was amazing.
Shot.
You know what's sad?
And it wasn't completely clean either.
No.
If he'd have caught him a little bit lower, I think he might have killed him.
But he had so much follow-through on that punch that it was...
He hit him right here. If he'd have hit him right here, he'd have taken his head off.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. You know what's sad about Wilder, though? Deontay Wilder, is that... When the hell are we going to see him and Joshua fight? It feels like...
We're not.
They're going to take as long as Pacquiao and Mayweather took, and it's a damn shame because, I mean, who else is there left for those two to fight?
Tyson Fury. Right, Tyson Fury's in the mix as well.
Is he? He's not.
Why not? Deontay Wilder didn't beat him.
They're ranked 1 and 2.
Deontay Wilder didn't beat him, and he's the lineal champion.
Yeah, but Fury is not. And by the way, I don't know that I've ever watched Fury fight, nor do I care to watch him fight. But he's not even in. I don't hear his name being thrown around there at all.
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. In when you talk heavyweight boxing, they're trying to figure out how to get those three to fight. And they can't do it because they're all under separate promotional banners. So Fury is signed with ESPN. Anthony Joshua's with Eddie Hearn and DAZN. And Deontay Wilder's with Showtime.
They can cross over to the WWF with Vince McMahon.
No, I want to see it for real.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. He can host. Vince
I don't want to see a fake fight. I want to see a real fight.
No, it'll be a real fight, but it'll be
three-way ladder match.
The three of them in the boxing ring.
Yeah,
but
I think we have a better chance of seeing Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder rematch than we do seeing Anthony Joshua against anyone. Because Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, Eddie Hearn is just keeping his cash cow away because he wants to make as much money as he can.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the only way to make the cash cow bigger. Fighting Joshua and Wilder.
I don't know, like, which is bigger, right? Getting $8-10 million fights, or one $40 million fight that if you win, you can make $100 million on the next one. No. You know what I mean? Like, if he fought Tyson Fury and won, then that Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder fight would be humongous.
See, Fury, they should set it up. Have Joshua fight Wilder, and the winner of that one gets Fury. Because what if one of them? What if has Anthony Joshua fought Fury?
No.
Okay, so what if one of them does fight Fury and Fury beats them?
See,
might as well, and then we're not gonna have.
I think the next fight that has to be made is Anthony Joshua against either one of them. Because both of those guys already took the risk. Mm-hmm. They fought each other. And they ended up tying. They ended up in a draw. So to fight again would be to kill the golden goose for one of them.
Yeah.
So right now, Anthony Joshua has 2 fights to pick from. If they fight again, Anthony Joshua only has 1 fight to pick from.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Did you see
I don't know.
the other one? Did you see Sage Northcutt? Fought in one championship, MMA guy.
I think I seen the highlight.
Got knocked out with 1 punch, broke his face in 8 places.
Damn.
I mean, he showed the X-rays. This part of his face looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
That's crazy.
This side is all smooth.
Yeah.
And then he's got teeth, and this side looks like a jigsaw.
Damn.
But the shot he took. Oh my God!
He hasn't been doing too hot either, has he?
Yeah, he did all right in the UFC, and then they let him go. He went to now he's at 1.
Oh, well, if he got let go, then he's not doing that great.
No, I mean, it was weird because the UFC put a lot of marketing push behind him, and then they said, "No, yeah, you can go." When his contract was over, yeah, you can go test the waters, and he did. Went to 1FC or whatever it's called. Anyway.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about everything but the obvious.
What's that? The obvious.
The NCAA softball tournament going
on. Yeah. You're on your own there.
All I know is Michigan's still in it.
Well, there you go.
Anywho.
They're still in the first round or what? It just started?
So what they do in softball and baseball, they have 64 teams, just like they do in basketball.
Oh, God.
But they put them in 16 4-team regionals.
Okay, let's go to basketball.
It's pretty interesting. They play a double elimination tournament with these 4 teams, and so then they have 16 teams advance, the Sweet 16, so to speak. They pair those up into what they call super regionals, and they have 8 best of 3 series.
Oh, that's just too much shit.
And then the 8 teams that make it out of there go to the College World Series.
Okay, gotcha. So it's 8 teams in the College World Series?
Yes. For both softball and baseball.
I'm sure I won't be watching.
I like the College World Series. For softball and...
yeah? Nah, I can't get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, they play with aluminum bats.
I don't care what they do. I don't care. I'm not like you. I'm a junkie. I'll watch anything. I mean, I just do not care. I will watch any sport.
So the playoffs in basketball are going on.
What kind of basketball? The EuroLeague?
The NBA playoffs.
The Baltic division?
The Baltic. They've been kind of boring, these playoffs, huh? These conference finals. I mean, the Warriors up 3-0. The Bucks pretty much dominating 2-1. It's over.
It depends on what you enjoy. If you enjoy watching the Trailblazers race out to a 15-point lead just to see the Warriors chop them like a tree in the third quarter and then win the game, it's pretty exciting.
Everybody loves a comeback.
I mean,
Games 2 and 3 were exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was watching a replay.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Only it was in Portland instead of Golden State.
Right.
Yeah, look, Golden State is showing themselves to be the best team in the NBA, which is kind of what we thought before this whole thing started.
Pretty much.
And, I mean, what can you say? The Warriors, by not playing well in the second quarter of games 2 and 3, have created their own drama. But other than that,
yeah,
they've created the only drama, which is can they come back? But to be quite honest, as soon as the third quarter started in game 3, they came out and they just looked different. And I thought, this is going to be a replay. And it was. And I don't know what the Warriors or what the Trailblazers have for the Warriors tonight. I hate to say it, but I don't think they have anything for them. And it's a shame. But
do they show up? No, literally, do they show up?
Yeah. I think the Trailblazers have run out of gas. You have to remember, they played a tough, physical 7-game series with Denver. And those games with OKC, it was a 5-game series, but they were tough games, all of them.
Yeah.
They had no gimmies. I think they have run out of gas. And Lillard, I think, is not 100%, and it shows.
What do you mean he's not 100%? Yeah, he's not 100% that good when in the playoffs. Plain and simple. I can't wait.
He's got a rib injury.
Yeah, but that happened in game 2. I mean, he's...
Right, which is why he didn't play well in game 2 and did not play
well
in
that's
game 3.
Not an excuse at this point. It's just not an excuse. I mean, Curry's been playing with 2 broken fingers for 2 series already. Not an excuse.
But he's Steph Curry.
I can't wait until I start seeing everybody say Lillard is just not that clutch in the playoffs. He's just not. I'm sorry. He's just not.
I don't know. He's
super sloppy with the ball, man.
He's a really good player.
When?
He's just not quite at that level, and he's flying solo.
No, he's not. McCollum is playing great. McCollum is playing good. Actually, McCollum is playing good. McCollum is playing better than Lillard is.
That's all they have.
Oh, then what? I mean,
but
you got to play with what you have.
No, I know.
The Warriors don't have Durant. They're playing with what they have.
Yeah, but they happen to have Steph Curry and Draymond Green.
Yeah, I think we're being a little.
Iguodala.
Yeah, I think we're being too nice to Lillard. Because it's just. I don't know, maybe because he plays out west or because he's a nice guy and he says the right things and he's loyal to Portland. But I mean, he's just not that clutch.
I don't think anyone is saying you're.
But nobody has come out and actually said
but
what I'm saying.
But here's the thing, you're comparing him to Steph Curry.
No, I'm not.
You're comparing him to Kevin Durant.
No,
you're
I'm not.
You're comparing him to LeBron James, and. What he is he's really good, but he's just not quite to that level. And so I don't think it's that he's not clutch.
Well, that's how you get to that level.
Right, but
by not turning the ball over in key situations.
I know, Alex, but you're saying, and maybe you're not, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like you're saying he's not a good player because he's not as good as those elite superstars. And what I'm saying is he's really good. He's just a notch below Steph Curry, and a notch below Kevin Durant, and a notch below Giannis, and a notch below James Harden. Yeah. He's just not quite there.
I mean, the last time Kawhi Leonard won a ring was in, 14, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't he hasn't really done much in the playoffs.
Well, he's
but
carrying that Raptors.
Exactly. So what? And that's present. That's now. So as much as we can go back and remember that Kawhi Leonard locked down LeBron James in the finals, right? We still have, stuff that he's doing now, hitting, buzzer beaters and locking down the Greek Freak last night. He played pretty good defense.
Yeah.
And he just shows up. But Lillard doesn't show up.
Yeah, but I think
not in the playoffs. In the regular season, he's got a bunch of buzzer beaters and big time performances.
I think it's unfair to say that he's not showing up. He's just not as good as those guys. It's not that he's not showing up.
Well, he's showing up because he's got an obligation. He's on a team and he's got to play.
Either play with the words or don't play with the words, but
he's not showing up because he turns the ball over. Are you not watching the games? He turns the ball. He turns the ball over, and he makes bad passes. He's not showing up when it counts in the third quarters. When they have the lead going into halftime, he's not doing anything to really rally his team as the leader of the Blazers.
Yeah, no. Look, I agree with you. He is not the creme de la creme of NBA stars. You're not going to put him on the Mount Rushmore of current NBA stars. He is a very good basketball player.
So we give him a pass.
I don't give him a pass, but I'm not saying he's the best point guard in the NBA.
No. But I'm not saying you are, but he is considered, amongst others, one of the top guards in the league. He's probably a top 5.
Yes.
Yeah,
but he's not one or two. But he's not one or two.
But
that's what he's up against.
But at this point, there's only 4 teams left, and you're going up against the best, and it's time to show. And it's time to show that you can play with the best, regardless if you are or not.
Right. You want him to be one of the very best, and he's not. He's one of the very good.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, look, that's what I think he's very good, but yeah, you're right. There is a marked difference between him and the other elite point guards of the NBA.
Yeah.
It's I just don't think it's right to say he hasn't shown up. He's not as good as Steph Curry. He's just not. And that's what we got.
Yeah.
What do you think about the East with that? Can the Raptors come back now? They've cut it to 2-1.
I've watched the games, but they've been some boring-ass games. I think it'll go 6 or 7 this series. But
I think so.
But, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that series because besides Kawhi, and Game 3, where Lowry finally showed up.
And then fouled out.
Right? Actually, he had a good Game 2. Actually, he dropped like 30 points in Game 2, but they lost.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to think about the Raptors.
I think it's going to go 7.
Yeah.
And, the problem is going to be, is Kawhi injured? He grabbed at that quad a lot. He had a quad problem last year, the year before, whenever with San Antonio. It's worrisome. If he's healthy and you hold Giannis to 12 points, shit, you got a series.
Yeah.
Which is what he did yesterday. But can he do that over and over again? It's a tall order to go out there and defend against that guy one game, let alone 3 more. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough series. I don't think it's going to be easy for either one of them. Because Milwaukee, although I think they're the better team, if Kawhi's healthy enough to lock down Giannis, man, all of a sudden the complexion of that team changes. It becomes more difficult.
Yeah, but do you want to see the Raptors in the finals? Because I don't know that he's enough to take on what is probably going to be the Warriors, right? Like I just don't.
But quite frankly, I think the same thing about the Bucks.
But the Bucks have a big three, according to you.
Yeah, and it will be more entertaining.
Yeah.
In the sense that Giannis is entertaining by himself, right?
Right.
But as far as winning,
the Bucks have a better chance.
Oh yeah, I think the Bucks have a better chance, but I still don't think that's a very good chance. Like I think
against the Warriors, it's
right. Like especially if KD comes back. I mean, geez, that's just it's just such a tall order. You look at these teams, right? Like Milwaukee is obviously developing that big three, and they're coming into their own, but they're not. They're almost there. But I mean, you look at the Warriors. If KD's healthy, they got like a big five.
Yeah.
I mean, watching Draymond Green and Steph Curry run pick and rolls, it's like, what are you gonna do? Because Steph can step back and hit a 30-footer, or he can drive the lane. I mean, it's just pick your poison. It's ridiculous.
You see, Draymond says he's been toning it down, and he realizes how he looks on video, flopping, and wasting energy on complaining with the refs. Which, by the way, I love that he came out and said that.
He has been a model citizen in these playoffs.
I love the fact, because the whole flopping thing, that is annoying, and after every single play arguing with the referee, that's annoying to watch. How many games does he go without getting the tee? I don't give him that much. Someone's gonna test
I believe
him.
Let's think about it.
That's not fair. Well, this series is over.
This series is over, so no one's gonna test him here. And who on the Raptors or Bucks is gonna get under his skin?
Yeah, really. I can't.
Brooks
think of,
Lopez,
I
maybe.
Can't, Eric Bledsoe, maybe. I can't think of nobody. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that kind of beef like he does out in the West with Westbrook and Chris Paul and James Harden. He's got guys out West that he messes with all the time. These two teams in the East, he sees them a couple times a year.
If you're,
I think he can stay clean.
If you're Clay, Steph, or Draymond, do you stay and just, do you get everyone together and say, hey, let's stick together and let's go for the ultimate championship dynasty? Yeah, just like LeBron went to 9 straight. Let's go to 9 straight and win 7 of them.
Yeah.
Or do you part ways?
Personally, right? I'm not a professional athlete, so I don't have the same confidence that they have.
Right.
So maybe this is the difference in my answer, but I love winning.
Yeah.
I say, guys, let's stay and let's just keep winning this thing over and over again, so that they talk about us like they talk about the Celtics.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But these guys are extremely confident. And I'm sure that every single one of them thinks that they can go and make their mark on another team. Like Steph knows he can go make his mark and possibly win a championship by himself. Right? He has that kind of confidence. KD, the same thing. Klay Thompson probably thinks, I could team up with Anthony Davis, right? Draymond Green probably thinks, I can get into that Boston lineup and turn things around. They have that kind of confidence that makes them think, maybe I could show that I'm not just a product of that Warrior system and those 4 other guys, that I could go do it someplace else. So, personally, I would say let's stay, let's build a 10-year dynasty. Let's have them talk about the Golden State Warriors in the same breath as the Boston Celtics. Yeah. But those guys are different. They've made it to that level because they are different, not just because they're slightly better athletes than me. So maybe they do want it. What would you do?
I would stay. It would be, it would be too much of hard work to leave. I'd rather make a cool $140 million than knowing that I'm gonna go to the finals.
I'm just too goddamn lazy to start my own.
That's it. Hey, let's just keep it going. There's no sense to start over.
Yeah, same thing with like Steve Kerr. Like, why would you want another job?
Yeah, seriously, why would you?
I don't know. You think Anthony Davis stays in New Orleans now that the Pelicans have the number 1 pick and could possibly get Zion or or what's the guy's name?
Ja Morant.
Yeah, Ja Morant.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule.
Man, I mean, if I was the Pelicans, I would be approaching Anthony Davis and be like, let's work this out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, let's work it out.
Yeah, like what do you want, bro?
What do you want?
Yeah.
You know?
How
many briefcases do I have to come in with?
We're gonna bring you this Zion kid. And granted, it may not be an instant NBA champion in 1 year.
Right.
But 2 or 3 years down the line, if the guy doesn't blow out his Nikes, I mean that could be an unbelievable front court.
David Griffin is their GM, and so he's all right. Like what he did in Cleveland, obviously, and he can possibly build a winner in New Orleans. But I think you got to start with Anthony Davis, see if you can keep him or not.
Because you're not gonna, if you trade him, you're not gonna get the same value back. You're just not. Because every team knows that Anthony Davis doesn't want to be there, right? So if I'm the Pelicans and I quietly go talk to the Celtics, right? Let's just say about Kyrie Irving, I'm not going to get Kyrie Irving. I'm going to get Gordon Hayward, right? Because the Celtics are going to go, you're coming to me to talk to me about a trade. You're going to offer me Anthony Davis for Kyrie Irving. That's because Anthony Davis doesn't want to stay. How about I give you a lesser piece?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're not going to get the value back. And there's not that many guys out there that are of equal or better value, right? Like,
well,
there's probably
the Warriors. Would you trade the Splash Brothers for Anthony Davis?
No, not 2 for 1.
You wouldn't trade both of them for Anthony Davis?
I would trade.
Or would you trade Anthony Davis for both of them?
I would trade if I was the Pelicans.
Sure.
If I was the Pelicans, heck yeah, I'd trade Anthony Davis for both of them. If I'm the Warriors, I might trade one.
And Draymond?
Plus...
Or, no, not Draymond.
Plus like an Iguodala?
Yeah. Maybe. Just because he's up in age and now he's
Klay Thompson and Iguodala for Anthony Davis. If you're the Warriors, I think you do it. If you're the Pelicans, do you do it?
No, I need King's ransom for Anthony Davis.
But what if he doesn't want to stay? You got to get something for him.
Yeah. Well, that's why that conversation had to happen already, right?
Oh, I'm sure that conversation happened as soon as they pulled up their little ping pong ball.
My one beef with the lottery thing is, when I played the lotto on TV, I'm watching the balls, the ping pong ball. Why can't the NBA fans get the same?
Yeah, why can't they see it happen?
Because how do we know this is not rigged? How do we know Adam Silver doesn't like the Knicks?
He doesn't.
Right?
Otherwise, the Knicks would have gotten
the basketball gods don't like the Knicks.
No, it has nothing to do with the basketball.
No?
It has to do with Adam Silver.
Adam Silver? He doesn't like
Tim
the Knicks?
Donaghy's out there somewhere fucking it up for the Knicks.
I mean, ever since
Patrick Ewing... The Knicks can't even win the lottery.
I mean, yeah.
Well, Phoenix ended up even worse. They ended up 4th. And they were
worse
than the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well... It's a lottery. That's why it's called a lottery.
Yeah, I guess. All right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man. That's it. I'm done.
You want to wrap this up? You got a shout out?
Probably not. Anthony Hardaway is my shout out. He's coach of the Memphis Tigers, college basketball. Last season was his first season with the Memphis Tigers. He's managed to get 2 5-star recruits and 1 4-star to commit. And he's got like others that have, that are highly recruited. I think with the letter of intent.
Yeah.
To sign. So what he's done, and one of the players that he got to commit was a Duke recruit. So he's doing something. Right? Yeah. What he's doing with the Memphis program is pretty neat, especially because if you're as old as I am, you remember Anthony Hardaway. Playing in the NBA with the Orlando Magic and Shaq, and his career being cut short by injuries. So, he seems to have found his life after basketball, which I think is pretty cool, and doing something for his alma mater. So
what's really impressive about that is because of where he is, Memphis, Tennessee, his biggest rivals are two national powers in Kentucky and Louisville.
Right.
And Kentucky, with Calipari, who's been swooping up players that go one and done all the time, it's impressive what he's done. And Louisville, who's giving away strippers and pizza and beer, it's tough to recruit in that area, and it's tough to recruit to come to that area, right? If a kid's willing to go to that part of the country, they're going to go to Kentucky or Louisville. Those are the bigger names. So the fact that he's doing it there makes it even more impressive. So I've been very impressed.
Makes you think if the Tide, the whole structure or powerhouses in college basketball is going to change, right? Because you might have some players that don't want to commit to these schools that have scandalism attached to them, and it may make them, draw their attention to these other schools, these second tier, third tier schools, and kind of build them up,
Well, and in basketball, more so than in football, where you could have one season and go pro. You don't have to be there for 4 years like in football, 3 years. And, look at Ja Rule, John Morant, right?
Yeah.
Murray State. And he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to, basketball, college basketball over the last 10 or 15 years, those mid-major schools, they're pulling in a lot of good talent, and they've really leveled out the playing field quite a bit. So,
agreed.
But the fact that he's doing it so close to those two national powers, those blue bloods, right, of college basketball makes it even more impressive.
True that.
My shout out goes out to a guy that I've shouted out before. Brooks Koepka won the PGA Championship. He won wire to wire. He had a 7-stroke lead at one point. The guy is... This is what I don't understand about golf. I don't understand how a guy can be that dominant for 4 days and not win every major, right?
Yeah.
You think if a guy is that dominant where no one gets to within a stroke of him on Sunday, or I think for a minute, Dustin Johnson was actually 1 stroke behind, you would think that guy is a shoo-in to win the next big tournament.
Yeah.
Especially on a course like Bethpage Black, which is not an easy course. You're talking about narrow fairways, ridiculous rough, and then the winds came on Sunday and they had, greens that looked like they were putting on a hardwood table. It's just amazing to me. And the guy was just, pardon the pun here, but he was masterful.
Yeah.
And I don't mean masterful like he won the Masters. I mean masterful like he won the PGA Championship. It was no contest. And that's not the first time he's done it. He's won majors before in the same type of fashion. And how the guy doesn't...
He only shows up for majors.
No, he plays well. He plays well in the FedEx Cup.
But he's only been winning the majors, right?
No, he wins
won others?
He wins other tournaments, yeah. The guy's just a phenomenal golfer. Tiger Woods had a rough Thursday and Friday, not around for the weekend.
So Brooks Koepka
Koepka
is more clutch than Dame Lillard. How about that?
And I saw a pretty cool picture. Brooks Koepka
and his girlfriend
in New York. One of the celebs he ran into, Saquon Barkley.
Really?
I thought that was pretty neat.
Cool.
So anyway.
Hopefully Barkley didn't get jinxed.
No, not at all. So with that, we've come to the end of another episode, podcast 75, number 75. Any famous 75s?
Long.
Howie Long.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mean Joe Green.
Ah, that's a good one.
One of the great ones.
That's a good
great ones. We've come to the end of
75.
75. Go ahead.
3/4.
Okay.
Yeah, 3/4 of a dollar.
7 dimes and a nickel.
There you go. See.
It's the only way I could do math when I was a kid is when they brought in the change. Boy, I could add. Once they brought in the money, I was an adding machine. Put it in my pocket. Yeah. Thanks, Teach. I learned.
That's right.
If you want to reach out to the show, you can do so via email. Email the show at positivesports10@gmail.com. positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so via Twitter at eMontana21. If you want to get a hold of this guy,
via email, positivesports10@gmail.com. positivesports10@gmail.com.
Excellent. or Brooklyn Gaucho 1 on Twitter.
Nah. Brooklyn Gaucho's dead, man.
No, he's not.
We gotta.
I saw him on there earlier.
Yeah, but he pops
spotty.
up. Yeah, he's spotty. We need to. We're gonna roll out a new moniker pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I'd be curious to see that. I've been thinking about
Brooklyn Gaucho 5.
I've been thinking about a new moniker for myself as well, but I'm just not that creative, so I'm gonna stick to E Montana 21.
Me neither. That's why it hasn't.
As always, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate spending the time with you and sharing our thoughts. You're more than welcome to reach out to us and share your thoughts back. And
That's right.
is a wrap, folks. As always, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.